Oh, I hope I am living up to the standard of a nice Canadian. This is Emin. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Today, I'm actually going to be sharing with you common questions and comments that I get from Germans when they find out that I am from Canada. If you are new to my channel, I am a Canadian expat living and working in Berlin, Germany. I've been here for the last 3 years, and on my channel, I talk about tips on how to move to Germany, how to find a job here, and just general advice and my point of view as an expat here in Berlin. So if you are interested in that, make sure to stick around. But I wanted to talk about just common questions that I get and also comments or remarks that Germans make towards Canadians. And this is not just based on my own experience, but experiences that fellow Canadians living in Germany have also told me. So I wanted to make this video so that you can get more insight into what Germans think of Canadians, what kind of questions you can expect to get if you are planning to move here from somewhere else, whether that be Canada or your own country, wherever you're from. So I do hope that you like this video, and let's go ahead and get started. I don't know what that's about, and I just poked myself in the face. I'm all over the place, guys. All right, let's get into it. So one of the first questions that I'll get, of course, when I tell somebody that I am from Canada is they'll ask me what part of Canada I am from. And when I say I'm from Toronto, usually I'll get some sort of remark saying, oh, I know a friend who lives 3 hours away from there, or I know somebody who lives in Vancouver or in Montreal. And I'll always get these type of remarks, and I never really know what to say. I just say, okay, cool. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like Vancouver is way over on the other side of the country. Montreal is like a different country on its own. Like there's nothing there. So I just always say nice, but it is really cute that they try to find some common ground and try to make a bit more small talk when I do let them know that I am from Toronto. I think a lot of expats can relate to this. If you tell someone that you're from a certain city, they'll probably be like, yeah, I have a friend who lives there, or I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who lives there. So it's just something that you're gonna have to get used to as someone foreign living in Germany. Another common question that I get is, what is the size of the city that I am from? And this is a very, very common German question. Germans love to know the population of a town or a city, and I think it just helps them gauge, how big the place is, and they can associate it to other cities in Germany. But it's not really a question that I've been asked anywhere else while traveling abroad. But as soon as I speak to a German about it, it happens to be the next question. So if you are moving here, be prepared to answer that. Be prepared to know the exact population of your small town or your city, wherever you're from, because Germans love to inquire about that. Some remarks that I get, and I don't want to offend anybody here, but some remarks that I get is if they hear me speak English, they immediately assume that I am American because our accents are quite similar. But when I say, oh no, I'm Canadian, they will immediately apologize, and they'll be like,
oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry to call you American. Like, I know Canadians hate being called American. Personally, before I moved here, I never considered it offensive. I mean, our accents are quite similar, but it's always super funny to me to hear this remark and to hear Germans apologize for calling me American. So yeah, this has happened to me multiple times, and I know a lot of Canadians that have experienced this as well. And it is very, very comical to see Germans get like super embarrassed or just worried that they offended you in some way, shape, or form, when really we probably don't take offense to that. It's like, whatever, we're used to it, and it's a very understandable mistake because our accents are very, very similar. So if you are a Canadian moving here, you will definitely witness this and experience this, and you can just laugh about it afterwards. Another remark that I get a lot when Germans find out that I am from Canada is they tell me that they would love to live there and they would love to move there. And I was very, very shocked by this answer because I moved here from Canada and I think, Berlin is amazing and I love living here. So to hear that a German wants to move to Toronto or they want to move to Canada is, very cool to hear. And it's always very interesting for me to have these conversations. I always try to ask more questions like, why do you want to move to Canada? Like, what's so cool about Canada? Have you been to these places? Why do you like it so much? And the majority of the time, the answers that I get is that they say the nature is so beautiful and it's just like so majestic and the winters are so nice. And also they make remarks about the people being so nice, which I always feel, like flattered and maybe a bit of pressure because I'm like, oh, I hope I am living up to the standard of a nice Canadian. But yeah, most common things are that it's the nature and something about Canada is just very, very appealing. I don't know if maybe in school Germans were taught about Canada and it made it seem like a really nice place, which it is, or maybe on TV there's been a lot of advertisements from the Canadian Tourism Board that makes Canada seem very beautiful and like this picturesque utopian place, which it is very beautiful and the nature is amazing. But it's just funny to hear that because it's like, I moved here because I think Germany is so amazing and they want to move there because they have this other idea of what Canada is. So it's very, very interesting to hear. And I have heard this from so many Germans during my time here as well. Now, the number one question that I get from Germans once they find out that I am from Canada is they ask me if I speak French. And I know a lot of other Canadians can relate to this question being asked. And my answer is no, I don't speak French. And I sort of have to explain why I don't speak French. I am from a province, Ontario, which speaks English. And there's really only one province in Canada, Quebec, where French is the majority language. So even though the second official language of Canada is French, only a small percentage of the population actually speaks French. Now in schools, we do take French lessons, but the education system, I'm gonna say at least in Ontario, the province where I'm from, when it comes to teaching French is very, very basic. I do think it is a shame that we're not forced to learn French and the education system is not to a level where we have to learn it and we have to adapt it because I see so many people in Europe that speak so many languages and it really is a shame that even in Canada, even though we do have a second official language, a lot of us just don't know it. And we really, by the end of our schooling, by the time we graduate high school, the majority of us only know the very basics, if that. I know quite a lot and I understand quite a lot, but I can't speak it fluently. And I did go to school in Canada for most of my life, so it is quite a shame that it's just not really enforced. But yeah, a lot of us Canadians that you meet probably don't speak French unless we went to a French immersion school growing up, or we grew up in the specific province of Quebec where that's the majority language there. And even then, I have met some people who are from Quebec that don't speak French. So yeah, that is the number one question that I get. And it always is quite sad to see the disappointment in their face. It's like, oh, I thought everyone in Canada spoke French, and oh, it's like so sad that you don't know it. And yeah, I do feel like it is really sad that I don't know it and that I didn't pick it up. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's what happens in Canada. So there is a misconception that we all speak French, but it is not true. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be all for today, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and found it informative and got more insight into the types of questions that Germans ask expats, and maybe some questions that you can expect as well when you do move here. If you are new to my channel, if it's your first time watching my videos, or maybe if you've been watching for a while and you haven't hit subscribed, please don't forget to. You can go ahead and hit subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so that you are notified next time I post, which is every single week. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day, and I will talk to you all very soon. Tschüss!